Hi, I'm Shawn Padraic Murphy. I usually try to use my entire name. Many people having my exact same first and last name at least 3 times now in my life, so need to use the whole name.
Yeah, I'm starting to use the Duke in mine too, just because they seem like they just pop up. Anyway, it's been a long time. We go back to where you were helping me in my movies, and actually you did one of the 32-hour ones.
And Live and Die.
Yeah, Live and Die. Well, we didn't do that in 32 hours. The 32-hour ticket, yeah, when we had all them fly in, they had to get on a plane in 32 hours. That was pretty crazy. But you did stick with me. I said anybody can stick with me for the 32 hours gets producer credit, and you got the producer credit.
Well, I remember that those 2 movies was pretty much the very second creative thing I had ever done for a while. Before I moved to Baltimore, I had worked on my first graphic novel, or my 3-issue miniseries first, and it was just a mix of a nonfiction, fiction story I kind of merged together so that the story would be interesting. Because the first time I'm doing something, I just had all these boards that my artist had made, and I had no idea what to do with them. I think I remember going to a college nearby and photo scanning them on a large photo scanner, so that I could actually edit them into a comic later. Because it was all new to me. I had no idea what I was doing at the time.
I thought you made a short movie when I first met you.
I guess I mean major things. Video game reviews, YouTube videos. I enjoyed doing that. I'd made some of those off and on for 20 years.
Back to that Live and Die thing, even though the movie didn't turn out that good, I went back and I cut it into 14 different sections. It's going to be a web series now. That way I can cut out all the stuff that wasn't.
You shouldn't tell that to me because I love differences. I will play a video game and play the original and the remake to see what the differences are. Now you're going to make me go watch the original and watch your web series.
Well, the original is hard to watch because it was back when everybody said, oh, it's got to be 90 minutes or you can't do nothing with it. So what we do is just film longer scenes that really kind of bore people. So yeah. You got to cut it up. I prefer something to where you can't go to the bathroom. You have to watch it.
Yeah.
But that's just me. But I know everybody's different.
I think the reason I got in touch with you originally is just because I was scanning for stuff to do on Craigslist. Because I was just trying to find. Because I was like.
That's right. I was advertising on Craigslist back then. That's true. I forgot about that.
I was just like, after I would be done looking for jobs because I just moved here, I'd be like, you know what? Maybe there's something else fun I can do while I'm here and only know one person. I remember, helping out with those 2 movies, and that was pretty entertaining.
Yeah, I forgot I advertised on Craigslist. Yeah, and that's why I was getting some creepy people.
Yeah, I think I still use Craigslist about 5 years later after I did that movie with you, and I tried to make 2 really good professional short films that I tried to submit to film festivals, but I didn't get into any of the film festivals, but I did make them. Probably eventually just going to put them on Facebook eventually so that the world can actually see them. And
speaking of that, correct me if I'm wrong, didn't you take a lot of my movies one time because I said just get rid of them?
Remember, I have 4 of yours on DVD because I have the one with the slight bit of nudity in it at the beginning. Don't remember too much.
Beat the Bastard Down?
Yes, that one.
That was made in 32 hours, yeah.
Who fantasizes that he's killing his family, so then he ends up...
Welcome Home? I made so many movies I lost count, dude.
When you make your ultimate Blu-ray collection of 25 movies...
I actually had a friend. He goes, I got a whole wall that's a Jimmy Traynor section.
Yeah, I have that too. I actually collect a ton of, running out of so much space, I'll just say, all 3 Captain America movies are just crammed into one Blu-ray on the shelf because it saves space. But I do have a little section down there which is all the movies and stuff I've worked on along with your movies right next to them.
That's cool. I appreciate that, man. As long as they're out there, there's a chance that somebody can see them.
Working with you, there was this group I met that made Star Trek fan films. I did help out as the cameraman on one of their shorts that was about 15 or 20 minutes. And they've done a lot of Star Trek related stuff. I remember they handed out DVDs of them for free because they can't sell them because it's not their property.
Right.
When they told me they were going to a convention, I remember I was at a convention and just got all of their first season or whatever because they had made 6 episodes and 2 shorts or something. So yeah, that was pretty cool. That they would actually put it on a DVD because now, because of what Paramount did with Star Trek, I don't even think you're allowed to put them on DVD for free at all. So they'll come at you even for that.
Yeah, it's that's why I was surprised I could get the Batwomen up there. We did a concept video.
Is this the Italian Batwoman or something? The one that
no, it's Batwomen from I think it was the 1950s.
Oh, okay, because there were other names that existed before Batman, Batwoman. I don't know if you've seen Kickstarter, that people will actually start making fan films on Kickstarter, which I can't support that because I would rather support people's original ideas rather than something like that.
Well, I never understood that anyway. I mean, I wanted to try the crowdfund me one time, but it got so turned off. Every time I kept seeing them pitch to me, this amount of money to film the movie, and then they come back later and they're like, okay, now we need to raise money for post-production. I was like, you didn't add that in? You know? So basically, you got a movie you can't finish because you used all the money right there, and you never thought about, hey, we need to finish it. It was just weird.
There's a whole series on YouTube now where people will just make videos of failed Kickstarter films, TV series, and video games, because video games are the ones that nobody knows how to do, and there's problems with those a lot. So back to my Star Trek thing, I actually did meet someone there who, to actually film a TV pilot, and I actually went down for a week and a half to Georgia, and we filmed in Georgia and Florida. It was about the Coast Guard reserves. One of the cameramen on that for the whole week and a half, and I did a little bit of editing, and it was just pretty fun to do that. And just, even though it didn't end up getting picked up by anyone, it was still fun to be involved in. After that, I really didn't do much more, I guess, professional stuff like that. I really only did YouTube videos for this website for about 3 years, like videos, video games, board games, stuff from the 80s and 90s that nobody remembers, and just talk about it or review it and stuff.
Not nobody. That's what I keep telling people, man. Even my movies. Look, I have some good ones and some bad ones, but even the ones that I consider bad, other people consider good, and the ones that I consider good, other people consider bad. So there's people out there that, believe it or not, it doesn't matter if you came out with an old TV show that nobody remembers. There's somebody that remembers it that wishes you brought it up. It's just like anything else. It's hard to find an audience. I see that you travel. When I went through your Facebook, you traveled a lot. Well, I don't know if that was, but you went to Japan and you got married.
Yeah, we went to Japan, luckily, the summer of 2019, right before COVID hit.
Congratulations, man. I mean, I know it's, been a while, but like I said, I haven't talked to you in a while. But your passion is the comic books, right?
I started off making this black and white sketch comic called Displacement, and that's been in a 3-issue miniseries, and I started going to a comic book convention called Small Press Expo, SPX, which is actually in Bethesda, Maryland. And that is how I started to try and sell my comic and meet other people who did the same thing that I did and kind of learn how to do some things here and there. I mean, because I'm only a writer, so I hire artists when I do my comic books.
That gets expensive, right? Because I did a couple of children's books and illustration. That adds up.
Yeah, spent a lot of money to finish new comics I want to make, so I've just been basically trying to finish the ones I already started. The end. The premise of that is, what if you knew the world was going to end in 7 days? What would you do? So each issue of my comic has 2 self-contained stories about how different people deal with the realization of the coming end of the world. And each issue had a separate theme as well. I had 2 other comics I worked on. One was called Strength. It was an over-the-top satire. A woman who's a young superhero who loses her clothes in a supervillain battle, and she's demonized for it even though she saved the city. So that was a more satirical look on how we deal with nudity in our culture. But that and The End are both kind of more mature rated.
That's
but
fine.
Then I also have a children's fantasy comic book I worked on called McConaughey. Finally finished that one, I want to say, last year or 2 years ago. Got the 5th and 6th issues done, but they're not completely done because there's some errors in it that I need to, some of these tech things before I publish it again or put the last 2 issues up. Whenever I finish my comic and I print it for conventions, I also put it available on Indie Planet. So IndiePlanet.com is a place where once you print your comic through Kablam, you can also choose to have your comic go on there and be available for purchase, and you can adjust the price on the website.
Oh, that's cool. Well, I commend you anyway because, like I said, to start something, I know, even with the children's books, the movies, it's a long process, and it's hard to stick with it all the way until finishing it. So anybody that finishes anything, I have the most respect for, And then, not only doing that, but then you keep starting other things because, like you said, you do a podcast on Transformers.
So that was funny because that was a YouTube episode I did with a friend of mine, Thomas. We both like the Transformers. That we just realized we talk about Transformers all the time. We're like, we want to do a podcast on Transformers. Someone told us about Geekade, and when we sent them our podcast, they liked it, and so they put our podcast on geekade.com. So now you can search for it there, and then it's also on all the podcast apps that you have on your phone and stuff too. It's called Sparkcast because a spark is basically the essence or the soul of the Transformers.
Now, is the Transformers, real quick, is that for everything, the cartoons and the live action? Do you talk about all that?
Generation 1. So my friend Thomas had never seen any of the original Transformers cartoons. So we switched between watching a few episodes of the cartoon and his reaction to watching them for the first time and his thoughts on it. We also look at the books that came out, like the children's books, the sticker books, good they actually are considering they're for kids, or bad they are because they look like they were just pumped out and then the art doesn't even match the story. So things like that. That's pretty fun. We actually just finished recording our 100th episode.
100 episodes. That's awesome.
Yeah.
How you get time for all this? Because know you got the full-time job. We won't mention, but I know you got one. And then you got the books. You got the comic books. You got the podcast. You got the wife.
Yeah. Well, right now I am taking a little break from the podcast because I wanted to get some more episodes made because I haven't actually put any of the podcast on YouTube, so I was going to do that for some of the older episodes and see if that gets people interested because it is kind of niche. It is just a podcast only about Transformers.
Well, I think there's an audience for everything. You just got to find them. Same thing with my movies. There's an audience for them. I just never found them. I really appreciate your time and hearing that you still have some of my movies. It makes me feel good because I'm making more, man.
No, I saw that you had done that sci-fi movie. I only saw the first 10 minutes, but
Alien Parasite.
Yes,
you gotta watch it. Now look, the first 14 minutes tried to set everything up and say this is this character, this is this character, and all that. After that, it's going to run good. Appreciate the time, man.
Thank you.